Chapter 5. Remember, my tranquilizers are coming out of your allowance. Are they really so cute in PJs with teddies? Or is it because they're so near their beddies? Essays of a Screaming Mother. Ah, the magic of childhood. But it doesn't work. I can't make them disappear. I do wear dark glasses in the house, hoping they won't recognize me. To show how wild they are, my 8-year-old bought a bicycle with money he had saved by not smoking. I got one of them a pair of elevator shoes and sent him to kindergarten a year early. I had him going to kindergarten and 2 nursery schools at the same time. One of my girls was so hard to get along with, she was in a Girl Scout troop all by herself. She never smiles. She was 15 before I saw her second teeth, and then I just happened to be with her when they told her she was on, and that was only because I happened to be with her when they told her she was on candid camera. None of my kids were dropouts, but they caused several dropouts among the teachers. They are so hard to live with, our next-door neighbors were ready to sell. Well, in fact, they were ready to give. I signed up for the foster parents plan, but that didn't work. I thought they'd send me some foster parents to help. And did we have kids? We were sort of an atom bomb in the population explosion. We were having kids so long, I went straight from buying Carter's baby clothes to Carter's little liver pills. I was tired out all year signing their names on Christmas cards. I finally quit having them by lying to the doctor about my age. Then Mrs. Clean has the nerve to say things like, "Children grow up too fast." And I keep asking mine, "Why can't you be like the other kids and grow up too fast?" One day she said, "If they make you so nervous, why did you have so many?" I told her I had them before I knew poodles were going to become so popular. Once she looked at my 5 and said sweetly, "You're so lucky. How I'd love to just have one of those." And I said, frankly, that's what I would have settled for too. That not being the case, however, here are some hints on how to live through it from a woman who learned the hard way. Cleanliness is next to impossible. The first rule to remember is, it's the ivory that floats, not the baby. Rule number 2, don't feel you have to give him a bath every single day. He won't tell anybody. In praise of violence. All children need discipline occasionally. I always say that people should raise their kids the way they make bread, punch them down after the first rising. Number 1, always stick to your guns. I would recommend a Winchester and a Colt 45. Number 2, fine your kids a penny for every fight they have. I did this once, and by nighttime their bicycles had second mortgages. Number 3, don't have your children obey you because they fear you. It's all right to try, but it won't work. Number 4, explain to your children that they have to behave better. They are making it so difficult for you to complain about other people's children. Number 5, make your teenagers show some respect. Try to ask them for permission before they say, "Are you ever dumb?" What Dr. Spock doesn't tell you. It's a well-recognized fact that children are like wild animals, and therefore the most important thing is to learn a few don'ts. Don't show fear in front of your child. If you fall off, get right back on and ride. Of course, you can always become a den mother so you won't be afraid of your child. Then you'll be afraid of 15 children. Number 1, never approach your child with fingers extended. Make a fist and have a calm, reassuring tone of voice. Number 2, don't feel that you have to bathe their little bodies every night before they go to bed. In case of fire, you can always see to it that the firemen spray them first. Number 3, don't worry if your kids' faces are always dirty. You may get away with sending them to school while they've got measles. Tips from a Planned Parenthood dropout. Number 1, as soon as you discover you are pregnant, it's wise to start saving for a rainy day so you can hire a babysitter and get out of the house. Number 2, The babysitter will be a mainstay of your sanity. Don't feel you should invariably go by child guidance experts, as it isn't always possible to follow their advice. One said, "Always have a babysitter who is acquainted with your children." If they were acquainted with my children, they wouldn't sit. Number 3, watch the expression on your babysitter's face when you refuse to tell her where you can be reached. He may be the president if you decide to let him grow up. Number 1, don't let your children play with kids whose mothers make homemade cookies. This just gives them false hopes. Number 2, teach them to not take a ride from anyone. Even if he's harmless, they'll get home way too soon. Number 3, have fire drills in your home. This was a regular practice at our house until one of the kids thought there should be a real fire. Number 4, no matter how mad you get at them, do not throw away the instructions on how to give artificial respiration. Number 5, try to have your kids play outside as much as possible. Assure them that a little lightning won't hurt. Number 6, if you have adopted children, it is kinder to tell them that they are adopted. In fact, someone suggested it would be kinder for me to tell my own children they're adopted, even though they're not. The Snake Pit Revisited. To live to old age, the time when it's more of a thrill to hear your kids come up the front steps than go down them, I have developed the following suggestions for survival. Number 1, hang your kids' pajamas in sight. It keeps your spirits up throughout the day. Number 2, if your kid must come home from school for lunch, put 10 leaves in the table to keep them apart. Those noon hours are terrible, and they feel they have to fight fast. Number 3, run the vacuum often, not to clean, but to drown out the sound of the kids. Number 4, make a rule that the only time the kids can run in the house is when they're on their way out. And if they write their names in dust on the furniture, just don't let them put the year. Number 5, remember, your sales resistance is lower with a salesman who comes right after the kids have gone to school. When you find out he isn't one of the kids that missed the bus, you're so happy that you'll buy anything. Number 6, get your kids in the church choir even if they can't sing. What's easier to dress them in on Sunday morning than a choir robe? Number 7, tell your kids' teachers you strongly believe the best punishment is having them stay after school. Shut up, said Mother. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Traveling with kids is terrible. This is the way we figure mileage. How many miles to a fight? We stopped for a hitchhiker once. He took one look and refused to get in. I make no guarantees, but maybe the following will help you out. Number 1, when traveling with kids, it's smart to keep something in your purse to surprise them with, like a blackjack. I don't get that one. Number 2, if you're taking kids on a vacation, like driving from New York to Disneyland, make a rule that your house has to be out of sight before they start asking, when will we be there? Number 3, don't point out anything for them to notice as you drive along. You're too apt to be passed before they've all spotted it, and I've found it's mighty hard to back up on the expressways. Every teenage girl needs a mother to misunderstand her. Children learn primarily by observing their parents' behavior, so it is wise to set a good example for them to follow. If you sow wild oats, your kids will feel that they can too. They'll say, if you can sow, I can sow too. Number 1, don't drink until the children are in bed. We made this rule once, but they got so sick of getting tucked in at 4:30. Number 2, don't pay attention to the rule not to fight in front of your kids. How else is your daughter going to learn how to win an argument? Number 3. Your daughter should help around the house. This is not easy to accomplish. My girls even fight over who has to press start on the dishwasher. Oh, that's the end of chapter 5.